Hello everyone, I am Dr. Ragini from Ansel Technical Campus, and now I will be talking about questionnaires and interviews as my topic as part of the talent management course in the syllabus. Before again we proceed, let us talk about the learning objectives. During this session, we will be learning about interviews, questionnaires and observation methods as the three most popular methods of collecting job analysis information. Yeah. So, talking about this slide, I have used the same slide in my earlier lecture also. These are various methods of collection of data for the purpose of analyzing a job. As I talked about other methods also in my earlier presentation, in this presentation I will be focused majorly on the three popular ones, that is observation, interview, questionnaire. But that does not mean that the others are not that important. All these methods are equally important. All these methods are very popular among the recruiters, among the HR people, among the organizations, because the basic rule, thumb rule again is goes that is, use any method which best fits your purpose, right. Meaning, for example, suppose you have to create a job data for a job which is being performed for the first time in the industry, right. Now, from where are you going to get more data? How are you going to retrieve that data? Who are you going to interview for that? Obviously, then checklists would come across, would come handy over here. Then as I said about critical incidents, these incidents rarely happen and not is not a can say regular phenomena. So, obviously, the job data pertaining to these kind of incidents would only come from these incidents. Anyways, here in this presentation, we will focus majorly on three topics, that is observation, interview and questionnaire method of collecting data for job analysis. The first one being interviews. When I say interview, what comes to your mind? A room full of anticipation and nervousness, and where in the center of the room probably would be a table and two chairs across the table. A person sitting with a sullen look on his face, holding your resume or your profile and an application written by you, and you sitting across, that person posing questions and you answering. As I said, a room full of anticipations, possibilities and of course nervousness. Fine, that could be there. We are not talking about all those aspects here. We are talking about the interview situation, what kind of questions would be there to be answered, and most importantly, how the data can be retrieved from the answers given by the interviewee. Certain things about the questions to be posed in interview. The questions could be unstructured to highly structured ones, like tell me something about yourself. This is a very unstructured question which has a lot of data hidden. A lot can be retrieved if the analyst can, if the interviewer wants, right. Similarly, a very interesting question these days being posed by the interviewers. Describe your one day at work. Again, a very unstructured question, but a very heavy one, carries a lot of information. And just by one in this question, the interviewer can retrieve immense information from the interviewee. That is his job profile, including the duties, responsibilities, the reporting pattern, his team management skills, his coordination skills, his management skills, his sincerity towards his job. Everything can be found out only by one this question. Just describe your one day at job. Then to highly structured. Can you join us immediately? Yes, no. You don't have any choice. You don't have any options. You have to answer either yes or no. Very, very structured. But for the interviewer, your one word answer will give a lot of information about your personal skills, right. Then interviews could be individual ones to group interviews. In what situations? When do we have group interviews? When there are a lot of applicants against very less number of positions appearing in the organization, and the motive of interviewer, the objective of interviewer is more rejecting people than selecting. Then obviously group interviews are conducted, and during these group interviews, then based on certain requirements already mentioned with the recruiter, they will just shortlist few people and reject all others. And then the last tip about the interview process is that interviewee should understand the reason for interview. That is very, very important, because ultimately we are talking about this interview situation not from the interviewee perspective, but from the interviewer or from the job analyst or organizational's perspective, right. That means before you are commencing this interview, before the interview is being commenced, what is required is that the interview should be given to understand the reason for the interview. Reason being, an interview can be a selection interview, at the same time the interview can be a rejection interview, an exit interview also. So, whatever is the type of interview, the interviewee should understand why he is being interviewed. Now, these are certain questions which usually the interviewer would like to ask from the interviewee. What is the job being performed? Who all are the members of his or her work groups? How long has one been doing a job? What exactly are the major duties of the position? Qualification, experience, skills, certifications and trainings, duties and responsibilities, accountabilities, physical demands of the duty, then mental and emotional demand. And the last one, are you really exposed to any hazards or unusual working conditions at your present working place? Now, usually what happens, the questions posed are not in this manner. The questions posed are totally different. Like for example, just now I said, tell me something about yourself, or describe your one day's task at your workplace, or how many people are reporting to you, or in a peculiar situation when there is no sales, how does the management react to you, how do you find the salary when there is no performance by your team members, how do you justify their salary to the management. So, basically from all these kind of questions they are trying to find out more and more about your job. More and more they are trying to extract data about your job so that they can describe your job in a better manner. Some guidelines to be given to the interviewers, because what actually happens here in these when these type of questions are being posed, interviewees at times maybe they may become nervous also, or they may become suspicious, or they may become alert, or whatever they, or they rather become can say their answers are not actual or real which should be. So, as a result you are not able to get the correct answers, correct kind of data. So, in order to do that, in order to get the right amount of data, the right type of data, what actually is required here is that the interviewers should also adhere to certain guidelines, and these guidelines are like, the first thing is that is they should make a rapport with the interviewee. How it is to be done? Very simple. We call it as a warm up exercise. The interviewee has entered the room, as I said in the beginning, an interview room, a typical interview room is full of anticipations, possibilities and nervousness. To eliminate these things is the task of the interviewer. The moment an interviewee enters into the room, say hi, hello, do not be too formal, do not give that sullen look on your face, right. Show that warmth from your facial expressions, show that warmth from your voice, show that warmth from your choice of words. Hi, I am so and so, please sit down, have a cup of have a glass of water, care for a tea, यार मैंने भी नहीं पी, those kind of things, you know. So, suddenly what will happen, a kind of rapport, a kind of acquaintance will be created with the interviewee, and interviewee will be at ease, and then he will be able to answer in a much better manner than he would have earlier. Next, interview is a situation where usually what is understood is that every question arises from the earlier answer. This is good, very good, but the flip side is that at the end of the day the time is over and the main the points which had to be covered during this interview process, the main information which had to be extracted could not be found out. Why? Because the interview was moved in some other direction which should be avoided, and in order to not do that, what is required? Prepare a list of questions ahead of time and try to adhere to that list only. You can go here and there a little bit, but not too much. Then do not overlook crucial but infrequently performed activities. Very simple. When your interviewee is answering the question, describe your one day at work, he might talk about some very unimportant looking events like I go for the lunch at 1:30 and I come back at 2:30, a very unimportant kind of a answer or data that is coming up. But from an HR's perspective, do you think this is a very unimportant data? That an employee is spending 1 full hour for the lunch, right. So, any data and every data, howsoever trivial it is looking to you, but is important, and therefore, it needs to be considered. Similarly, there could be certain activity, say for example, he could be describing a day which was very eventful, where he came across many such things which were not called for, which was not part of his duty otherwise, but he came across those activities and he performed well, or he whatever he did. Now, that is also very important, though it may not be a regular part of the job to be performed, but yes, he performed that activity during the job hours while doing his job, and it has to be dealt with equal importance that how he performed the task and what was the outcome. Maybe in future that could become part of the job analysis. Very important thing. After completion of the interview, just review the information that you have gathered with the supervisor as well as with the interviewee. A very simple method. Once you have done, just confirm with the interviewee. During the interview process, we talked about all these informations, you gave these informations to me, and do you agree to this? Do you consent it? The moment he say yes, yes, you have reviewed that information and you have found out correct. Similarly, with the supervisor, you can cross check all that information that you have retrieved from the employee from his supervisor also. In case of new recruitments, we have a method called reference check. He described his full day. Now, you do the reference check with his immediate employer to understand, to just verify whatever he said was correct or not. So, is not it simple? It is simple, yes, but very, very important for the interviewer to verify the information that is being supplied, the data that is being supplied, how far it is correct and authentic. Next, we move on to the second most popular method, that is questionnaire. Interview is very important and gives, most of the time it gives a very correct kind of information, because it is directly coming from the horse's mouth and you have all the control over the scenario as an interviewer. But at times, due to paucity of time, or maybe because the interview has moved in a totally different direction, or maybe that you skipped unintentionally certain points, so you are not able to gather relevant information in a given time period. So, what to do? You have another method, questionnaire. Another reason why we use questionnaires over interview is that interview has its own limitation of participation. Say you might be having a week's time, and if you give 30 minutes to each and every candidate to interview, and every day you are interviewing say 4 to 5 candidates. So, in a week's time, how many candidates can you interview? Not more than 20-25 candidates, at max 30 candidates, right. That means the data, the information that you have retrieved has only come from 30 people. You might be having 300 employees in the organization, or in case if your organization is global, you might be having much more number of people than you anticipate, right. Then global diversities are there. How to cope up that? The best method is questionnaire. these are two types of questionnaires, questions that we make in a questionnaire: structured versus unstructured. A structured questionnaire is where all the questions are in a sequential manner, in a structured manner, in a systematic form, starting from the personal information, then the information regarding the topic that you want to cover, and in the end their personal views in the form of some open ended questions. Unstructured questionnaires are I can say you may give certain questions which are not directly related to the topic, but you ask their opinion on certain other things, and while asking that opinion, while gathering that data, you actually come across, you find some other information which is actually of utmost importance. Then close ended versus open ended questions. In the structured questionnaire, you have two types of questions: close ended and open ended. Open ended questions like, as I just now said, tell me something about yourself, right. The interviewee or the person concerned rather has anything and everything to speak or to write in that question. Whereas in close ended questions, it could be dichotomous question, either yes and no answers, like can you join from tomorrow, yes or no, or it could be a multiple choice also, where you give 5 or 6 choices and the respondent has to choose either one or more than one from that. Then the questionnaire is, as I just now said, a very quick and efficient way of retrieving relevant information, right, because you have written everything in the form of questions. At times the questions would be close ended also, where you have the pertinent answers mentioned there, they only have to tick the answer and you get that information very, very easily, right, which earlier you could not get in interviews or in any other form of data collection method. But as we know that once the questionnaire is in the hands of the respondent, it is, as we say, the ball is not in our court, right class. That means what? That once the questionnaire has been administered, now it is at the mercy of the respondent. The respondent is has full authority that he may not fill the questionnaire, or he may fill half of the questionnaire, or he may not give information, pertinent information which actually you require, right. So, at that so that is at that point of time, I would say that for the person who has to gather that information, it is for him to be very, very careful while designing the questionnaire. Designing of questionnaire is a very, very tricky task. You have to decide, you have to find out, finalize questions according to taking in consideration the psyche of the respondent whom you are asking those questions, right. For example, suppose you create a questionnaire for, say, employers of small companies, asking about the performance of their employees, that is the labor, how laborers are working or how laborers are performing in the company. Now, what will happen? Are they going to give you correct information? Because if they say no, laborers are very laborious, very hard working, and in case if this information leaks to their laborers, there could be a situation where laborers may demand maybe pay raise or something, right. So, obviously they will not give you correct information, or maybe that they are taking extra work from the labor, overtime and all these, which is long been abolished in a country. And in case if you ask these kind of questions, obviously they are not going to answer this question, right. So, you have to be very, very careful while designing the questionnaire, what questions are you asking, which you are certain, you are sure that it will be answered, and it will be answered honestly, to the extent that yes, you are able to get correct amount of data. Now, this is a prototype of the question. As you can see, this is a job analysis questionnaire, where clearly the purpose and instructions are mentioned at the top, and then employee data, summary of duties and responsibilities has been asked, listing of job duties has been asked, right. Then certain other things, that is whether they require training, whether they require other education methods. So, all the supervisory responsibilities, whatever they are possessing, has been mentioned over there. They have to simply fill all these informations, and when they see this questionnaire, they find yes, this is something which they need to fill. Why? Because they have been told that in case if this is being filled correctly, this would this may lead to their job hike, this may lead to their promotions also, and this will certainly affect their assessment of performance in the longer run. So, when this kind of information, when this kind of thing has been told to them, obviously they would certainly fill this questionnaire, how so long it is. But yes, they are going to fill this questionnaire, right. Next, the third one is the observation. Now, observation is very, very important method, right, and which gives more, why? Because this gives most unbiased result, because you are not asking anyone about their opinion, that they can feed the opinion, they can give some dummy data to you. They are not asking giving them a questionnaire that they have the choice to fill or not to fill or half fill the questionnaire. You are just observing people from a distance, how they are behaving in a particular scenario. So, this method gives most unbiased, most authentic information or data in order to analyze a particular job. Now, so that is why this observation method is used to obtain first hand knowledge and information about the job that is being analyzed. But not every job can be analyzed using observation method. This is not a suitable method for all the jobs. So, which jobs can be analyzed using observation method? As you can see, these are certain jobs where you can use observation method: machine operator, construction worker, police officer or patrol officer, flight attendant, bus driver, housekeeper, skilled crafts worker. Why? Because only those jobs can be observed for finding the correct amount of data wherein some kind of movement is there, physical movement is there, one. Secondly, the job should be of short duration. Very long job cannot be observed. And third, in case if the job is very lengthy, then one significant part of the job should be observed, not the whole job, right. And the last one, only those jobs in which the job analyst really thinks that he can learn about the information about the job through observation should be observed, not every job, right. Now, these are certain advantages and disadvantages of observation method. As you can see, the advantage being that it is a first hand information, you can assess the work environment, tools, equipment used, right, and in case of any legal suit, the observation method can be used as a testimony in order to protect the organization. And with this I conclude this topic. Thank you.